All right, we are moving on to writing our research report or proposals. The objective for today's lesson is I can identify the components of a research report or proposal, and the language objective is completing a graphic organizer outline to plan out the structure and components of my research report or proposal. So, the first embedded assessment, as we know, was the annotated bibliography. And now we are moving on to the next part of the unit, which is embedded assessment two, presenting your solution. We've already finished embedded assessment one, and we are starting on presenting your solution. So the verbiage that's on your lime green paper in your binder is you will present your research findings and proposed solution to an authentic audience. Then you will deliver a presentation designed to contextualize the conflict for your classmates and justify your approach to resolving it. So we are running out of time in this marking period. So we are going to take out the part where you're presenting to your classmates and you are just going to present your research findings to an authentic audience. So we have talked about what an authentic audience is. That is someone who can do something about your problem. So it depends on what your topic is to determine who your authentic audience is. But think about who could make a change and put your solution into place. Make that change so that the problem that you have researched is no longer a problem now that they have implemented your solution. The first part of a research report or proposal is the hook. So, just like the beginning of an essay, you want to hook your audience or grab their attention and get them interested in what you have to say. We're going to look at three types of hooks and examples. The first type of hook is to surprise your audience with an unexpected fact. So, the example I'm providing for you is like most families, we recycle everything we can at our house. While having a bin full of recyclables each week might feel like we are doing our part to conserve our earth, only 9% of all plastic produced is actually recyclable. So, because 9% is such a small amount, that is a shocking fact or an unexpected fact that I can surprise my audience with. The next type is to clarify a misconception. So, a misconception is something that people think that is wrong. And if we're going to clarify it, we're going to make clear what that misconception is and then give them information that is correct. So, the example I have for you is when people think of plastic pollution in the ocean, many imagine floating islands of plastic that could easily be cleaned up by trolling the ocean surface. However, only a small percentage of plastics found in the ocean actually float on the surface. The majority of plastics in the ocean are found below the surface, either resting on the floor, trapped in Arctic ice, or inside the bellies of ocean animals. Most plastic is reduced to tiny particles, degraded fragments of their original form, some as small as grains of rice. So the misconception is that people think that plastic pollution in the ocean is just on the ocean surface, but actually the majority of it is somewhere below the surface, and a lot of it is um, degraded down into small fragments. Some of it as small as grains of rice. So that should show my audience that this is a much bigger deal than maybe they think it is. The last type of hook we're going to look at is sharing an anecdote. And an anecdote is like a short little story. You can share an anecdote that is something that has happened to you or someone you know, or it could be a little story that you have, seen on the news or seen in a movie or something. You're just trying to relate to your audience. So my example is while walking along the shoreline on a recent trip to Newport, Rhode Island, I marveled at the beauty of the crystal clear water and enjoyed the peaceful crashing waves until the vibrant hues of plastic litter clashed with the shells and seaweed, a stark reminder of our careless waste disposal habits. So I'm just sharing here's something that happened to me that gets my audience interested in what I have to say. These are not the only kinds of hooks that you can use, but these are three that I thought would be appropriate for the type of writing that we're doing. And these are probably strategies that you are familiar with and have used in your writing before. The next part of your research report or proposal is the relevance. So, why is this relevant to you and relevant to your audience? The purpose of this part is to provide context or background information. So, this is where you'll share some of your researched information to kind of establish what's going on in the world with your problem. You are establishing why your topic is an issue, who is affected, and why it is important to you. And you're stating your position and presenting reasons that support your position. The next part is the counterclaim, concession, and refutation. A counterclaim is a position by someone with an opposing viewpoint. So your claim is what you believe about your topic. A counterclaim is what someone with a viewpoint that opposes yours or goes against yours believes. A concession is an admission and an argument that the opposing side has valid points. So we're not talking about concession like where you go get a hot dog and popcorn. We're talking about conceding, so kind of meeting in the middle. Where is something in the counterclaim or an opposing point of view that you can agree on to a point? And then your refutation is the reasoning that you use to disprove the opposing point. So you are agreeing to a point with the concession, and then you're saying, in fact, this is why I am right and that side is wrong. The purpose is to build credibility by addressing another side of the issue. So rather than only focusing on your point of view and not considering what other people might think about the topic, you are addressing other sides of the issue to show that you have thought deeply about this and that you're a reasonable person, which makes you a more credible speaker on the topic. So think about when you have had a conversation with someone and they are very, very stubborn in their point of view. It can be off-putting if they don't seem like they're willing to even listen to what other people say. So by presenting a counterclaim, you're showing that you're a reasonable person and you're not just stubborn and stuck in your ways. And the last part is your solution and call to action. So the purpose of this is to propose the solution that you support and explain how and why the solution works to solve the problem. So give the details about how that's going to work, how it solves the problem, and then why your solution works to solve the problem. You'll also suggest what the benefits are of adopting your solution and or what the consequences are of failing to do so. So if we're talking about plastic pollution, if we don't implement my solution, the pollution will just continue getting worse and then the earth will be uninhabitable or whatever. So that's the consequences of failing to implement the solution. For this part, you want to ask yourself, what do I want my audience to think or do differently after hearing my proposal?